Now that you've moved down the track, it's time to bring the train to a stop. Use the controls indicated. Try restarting this tutorial and running it a few times until you're comfortable with driving from the outside, including moving the camera around. That concludes this module. If you wish to replay it, you can come back to it at any time via the training center. In this training module, you'll be learning how to shut down a cab and change ends of the train so that you can drive in the other direction. You'll bring this unit back to central square sidings. You'll need to change ends a couple of times. Don't worry about how the train is going to get there though, all the paths are going to be set for you. You just need to change ends and then drive when you're given instruction to do so. Get started by setting this cab up for operation. Activate the master key first to unlock the control desk. Set the headlights for daytime operation and ensure the tail lights are off. Set the headlights for daytime operation and ensure the tail lights are off. Set the reverser to forwards, as that's the first move brings the train forwards to the junction around the corner from here, and you'll be stopping once the rear of the train has cleared it. Apply some power and drive forward a bit so that we can prove that this cab is working and the train moves as expected. That's far enough. Bring the train to a stop by applying some brake using the power brake handle. Now that the train has stopped, you need to shut this cab down. Turn off the headlights and ensure the tail lights are on. Turn off the headlights and ensure the tail lights are on. Turn off the headlights and ensure the tail lights are on. Turn off the headlights and ensure the tail lights are on. Turn off the headlights and ensure the tail lights are on. Turn off the headlights and ensure the tail lights are on. Turn off the headlights and ensure the tail lights are on. Turn off the headlights and ensure the tail lights are on. Turn off the headlights and ensure the tail lights are on. Turn off the headlights and ensure the tail lights are on. Turn off the headlights and ensure the tail lights are on. Turn off the headlights and ensure the tail lights are on. Turn off the headlights and ensure the tail lights are on. Turn off the headlights and ensure the tail lights are on. Turn off the headlights and ensure the tail lights are on. Turn off the headlights and ensure the tail lights are on. Turn off the headlights and This cab is now shut down. Walk over to the other end of the train, ensuring to close any doors behind you. Sit in the driver's seat. Follow the steps indicated to activate this cab, repeating the procedure that you did when you set up the previous cab. Now that the cab is active, wait for the yard controller to give us permission to proceed forward once they've checked and blocked all the junctions for us. You're good to go. Apply some power and get moving. Your next destination is going to take... Follow the steps indicated to deactivate this cab. Now that the cab is active, wait for the yard controller to give us permission to proceed forward once they've checked and locked all the junctions for us. You're good to go. Apply some power and get moving. Your final destination is going to take you to the central square sidings right next to the main building. Before you finish, take a moment to review. When changing cabs on almost any train, there are some common things to double check before you depart the cab you're finished with. What position have you left the throttle and brake controls in? What position is the reverser in? Are the headlights and taillights set up correctly for what will become the rear of the train? Are all doors closed? Once you get used to each train you operate, you'll quickly begin to remember what each one needs and get used to the elements that are common between different trains. That concludes this module. If you wish to replay it, you can come back to it at any time via the training center.
Welcome to Frankfurt Main Hauptbahnhof, located in the German state of Hesse. The station opened on the 18th of August 1888, and in the years since has been named the most important transport hub in Germany by Deutsche Bahn. Looks like there is a route map missing. Let's place this missing one while you wait. There are more route tasks to discover. Make sure to apply missing route maps, fix Bembel pictures, restock first aid points, and eat Frankfurters. Take a seat. The train is just about to leave. Frankfurt Main Hauptbahnhof took 5 years to build, and for 27 years was the biggest rail station in Europe. In 1956, the station became fully electrified. A year later, it welcomed the biggest track diagram signal box, featuring 15,000 relays controlled by 16 operators. This remained in use until 2005. Over its 48-year lifespan, the track diagram signal box controlled over 20 million trains and over 90 million shunting maneuvers. Tracks along platforms 6 and 9 were expanded into unused baggage platforms to facilitate the longer ICE trains. When Germany hosted the World Cup in 2006, station signage was updated to improve navigation. Welcome to Frankfurt. Explore the rails of a sprawling modern metropolis and take control of regional, commuter and intercity express duties in Train Sim World. Lean into the action with the all-new DBBR 411 ICE-T. An extravaganza of electric traction awaits. In this training module, you will be taken through the operation of a DB-BR411I CET, Electrical Multiple Unit. ICE stands for Intercity Express. The T in ICET stands for the German word Triebwagen, meaning multiple unit. Set the reverser to forward. This controls the direction of travel. Set the headlights to indicate that this train is operational.
Störung, Störung.
The ICET is equipped with GNT to facilitate a smoother ride and higher speeds. Enable the GNT now. GNT allows trains to tilt, enabling them to drive at up to 30% faster than the signed speed limits. Open the passenger doors to allow boarding.
Türen geöffnet.
The ICET is the only German high-speed train in service that has tilting technology. This means that it leans into curves, similar to a motorcycle, so that passenger comfort isn't as affected by G-force. Close the doors before departure. The BR411 was built in 2 production runs, one in 2000 and one in 2004. They have been across all of Germany, as well as on services to Vienna, Austria. Move the throttle. With a top speed of 230 kilometers an hour, it is the slowest of all ICE trains currently in service. This, however, is rarely a problem, as it is mainly used on routes with many curves and lower speeds. Now you've built up some speed, you can return the throttle to the off position to begin coasting. On level grades, you can coast to maintain your speed, reducing energy consumption and stress on the motors. When coasting, always remain vigilant of the gradient, as changes could cause the train to speed up or slow down. Keeping to speed limits is important. If you begin overspeeding, apply a small amount of braking force by moving the train brake into the braking range. You are approaching the station. Begin applying a small amount of braking force by moving the train brake into the braking range.
Störung.
Notbremsung.
Nice job. The train has safely come to us.
Türen geöffnet.
Good work. That concludes all of the basics of operating this train.
Welcome to San Bernardino Station, located in Southern California. First opened in 1918, the current San Bernardino Depot serves as both a passenger terminus and an entryway to the nearby freight yards and maintenance facilities. Passenger services at this station are operated by both Metrolink and Amtrak trains. There's a missing route map over there. Fix that while you're here. There are more tasks to complete. Don't forget to apply the route maps, replant the utility warning stakes, repair the electrical cabinets, and clean the trespassing signs. Sit down in any available seat in the indicated car. The original station building was constructed in 1886 by the Atchison, Topeka, and Santa Fe Railway to replace a converted boxcar that had been used as a temporary station. However, in November 1916, the building was almost completely destroyed after a fire enveloped the station, but plans were soon put in place to rebuild. Opened in July 1918, the new station cost an estimated $800,000 to build, approximately $16 million adjusted for inflation. At the time, it was the largest railway station west of the Mississippi River and was constructed in the Mission Revival style with Moorish and Spanish colonial revival features. The station saw heavy use during the 20th century. However, there was a gradual decline in usage around this period due to the increase in road vehicles and air travel. In 1992, the San Bernardino Associated Governments purchased the depot and started an extensive restoration plan, which began in 2002. In 2008, both the depot and station were reopened, with services being provided by both Metrolink and Amtrak. Between March and April 2017, further developments were carried out, with new elevators, platforms, tracks, and overpass being constructed as part of the downtown San Bernardino passenger rail project. This train is powered by a Metrolink MP36PH-3C locomotive, first introduced in 2003 to operate passenger services in the San Francisco Bay Area, however was soon adopted by other railroad operators. Take on the challenge of operating demanding passenger services in the heart of Southern California. Head to the tracks in a bustling urban environment whilst managing a busy schedule. This is Train Sim World, San Bernardino Line, Los Angeles to San Bernardino. In this training module, you will be learning how to drive a Metrolink MP36PH-3C locomotive. During this brief introduction, you will be taken through the critical driving controls and performing passenger operations. When you are ready, climb aboard. Take a seat in the engineer's position so that you can prepare the train for service. For this introduction, you will be completing a full loop of the circuit and performing passenger operations when you reach the next stop. Prepare the train for departure. This locomotive has a removable reverser, which will need to be inserted before setting a direction of travel. Set the headlights, as this will let others around you know that this train is operational. To begin loading passengers, you will need to open the passenger doors. It is time to depart. Close the passenger doors. This locomotive has 3 types of braking systems: automatic brakes, dynamic brakes, and independent brakes. Automatic brakes control the braking force applied across the entire formation. Dynamic brakes use the locomotive's electric traction motors to generate resistance and are often used to maintain speeds while going downhill. Independent brakes apply the mechanical disc brakes on only the locomotive and may be used to assist with hill starts. As you have passenger cars coupled, you should use the automatic brake to manage the train's speed. To confirm that this locomotive has control of the train's brakes, set the cutoff pilot valve to the passenger mode. This locomotive features a combined throttle and dynamic brake controller. To get the train moving, move the handle into the power range. On level grades, you can coast to maintain your speed, reducing energy consumption and stress on the motors. When coasting, always remain vigilant. Keeping to speed limits is important. If you begin overspeeding, apply a small amount of braking force by moving the automatic brake into the braking range. First built in 2003 and entering service the same year, the MP36PH-3C was the second locomotive produced as part of the MPX Press line of diesel-electric locomotives from MPI. Initially trialed by Caltrain to operate services in the San Francisco Bay Area, the locomotive proved to be popular, with a total of 100 being constructed for 9 different railroad operators. Similar to the first MP Express locomotive, the MP36PH-3C has the same EMD 645F3B prime mover, but features a separate head-end power generator, a Caterpillar C27 internal combustion engine. The MP36PH-3C has a top speed of 102 miles per hour, 164 kilometers an hour, and a power output of 3,600 horsepower, 2,700 kilowatts. You're now approaching the station, so prepare to slow down the train. Use the automatic brake to apply some braking force to bring the train to a gentle stop in the indicated position. Now that the train has stopped, you can open the passenger doors. Good work! That concludes all the basics of operating this train. In this training module, you will be learning how to drive a Rotom cab car. During this brief introduction, you will be taken through the critical driving controls and performing passenger operations. When you are ready, climb aboard. Take a seat in the engineer's position. For this introduction, you will be completing a full loop of the circuit and performing passenger operations when you reach the next stop. Prepare the train for departure. The cab setup switch must be set before attempting to set up the rest of the cab. The automatic brake needs to be cut in to allow this vehicle control of the brakes across the entire formation. This train has a removable reverser, which will need to be inserted before setting a direction of travel. Set the headlights, as this will let others around you know that this train is operational. To begin loading passengers, you will need to open the passenger doors. It is time to depart. Close the passenger doors. The automatic brake controls the braking force across the entire formation and will need to be released before you can move the train. This train features a combined power and brake handle known as a master controller. To get the train moving, move the master controller into the power range. On level grades, you can coast to maintain your speed, reducing energy consumption and stress on the motors. When coasting, always remain vigilant of the grade, as keeping to speed limits is important. If you begin overspeeding, apply a small amount of braking force using the automatic brake. First debuting in 2010, the Rotem cab and passenger coaches were introduced as part of Metrolink's plans to upgrade their passenger rolling stock to the next generation. An initial batch of 117 coaches were produced, with each of them utilizing the latest in crash energy management technology, a first for a passenger train operator. The new stock also came fitted with a variety of interior upgrades, which included redesigned seats and work tables, as well as energy-absorbing zones at each end of the coaches. The new design also allowed for a maximum carrying capacity of 570 passengers,